Putting is nearly half the game. Yet, over 99% of golf instruction focuses only on the full swing. That's not smart. Jeff Mangum has devoted himself to being the best putting coach in the history of the game. After over 15 years of intense and focused preparation, he's there. Find out why veteran professional golfers and renowned golf instructors respond to his teaching with words of unrestrained praise. Amazing. The best ever. A genius. Jeff has studied putting wider and deeper than anyone in history. For 5 years straight, he read everything published about putting and compiled the largest annotated research in all of golf. Over 11,000 references, minutely organized and digested. This research is over 20 times larger than the largest existing bibliography in all of golf. Researchers around the world now rely on his work. But you know what? All this study taught him that, without question, the existing golf instruction for putting is uniformly vague, inconsistent, and repetitive. Basic, simple questions aren't tackled or resolved. Consequently, Jeff has gone far beyond the current state of knowledge in golf in a relentless pursuit of answers to such basic issues as: how does the golfer best target in putting? How does the golfer best make a stroke in putting? Jeff has answered these two basic questions with a decade-long study of the human brain through a range of sciences and has produced revolutionary insights into how the brain processes movement and perception during putting. These insights capture the historic strategies and behaviors of golf's great flat-stick artisans and now form the basis of his unique and lethally effective techniques for optimal putting. Jeff's first PGA Tour student, Sean McKeel, was ranked near the bottom in tour putting stats and was winless. And only 2 months after working with Jeff, he went to winning a major on the strength of his putting, the PGA Championship. Sean has said, "Everyone remembers my 7-iron, but my putter won me the PGA Championship." Jeff's students in all levels of golf have seen the same sort of fantastic success. Blake Adams, playing mini tours, took a single lesson and the next morning fired a career best tour record 62 and won his event going away. A collegiate player, Travis Lethco, after a few lessons, set his course record with a personal best round of 63 and finished his freshman year 8th in the NCAA finals. Junior competitor Ben Parker from Southport, England, took 2 lessons from Jeff in the fall before cruising to victory over the world-class field at the Junior Orange Bowl Invitational in Miami after opening rounds of 63 and 67. Take a moment to learn about this important and revolutionary development in the game of golf. If you like golf, you'll be very glad you did.
Hi, my name is Jeff Mangum. I'm very glad to welcome you to the Putting Zone. I'd like to take the next brief few minutes to explain to you a project that I've been working on now for over 15 years that I hope I can convince you is the most exciting, advanced, and comprehensive approach to the art and science of putting in golf history. When I first began studying the art and science of putting, I was looking like everyone else for a magic bullet or a quick fix. And you know, there just isn't one. So I've been studying all the literature about golf instruction for putting that I could find. And that includes every book, every article, every website, every CD-ROM, everything. And you know what I found? Golf instruction for putting is vague, inconsistent, conflicting, and repetitive. Somehow or another, golf instruction hasn't really come to grips with very basic issues. How do you target in golf? How do you make a good stroke in golf? And I've been relentless in pursuing those questions to try to get to the bottom of them. And that pursuit has led me through various sundry sciences, the most important of which is the science of the brain. Brain science has advanced immensely in the 1990s and 2000. And I've read brain science for about 15 years, but only for answering two very basic questions. What does a golfer do when he targets in putting, and how does he best make a putting stroke for accuracy and consistency? There are four things that everybody does in putting. Good golfers do those four things well, and masterful putters do those things well because they understand how they work. Those four things are: read the green to pick a target. Second is to aim the putter and your body for the purposes of a straight stroke. The third thing is to putt straight. And the fourth thing is to putt with exquisite or excellent distance control or touch. Those four things are basically in two different categories. One is perceiving or targeting, and the second one is movement or making the stroke. This is a new century, and I'd like to show you how using the brain and focusing on the brain for putting is much more valuable than the old engineering or robotics approach of the past. If you focus on how the brain runs the body and how the body makes these motions, you have a very different approach to the science of putting, and I think it's a very effective and important approach that we need to concentrate on for the future. If you're viewing this, that means that I've singled you out as someone I'd like to work with. I'd like to introduce you to a number of interrelated projects in the PuttingZone in the hopes that you and I can make an important historical contribution to the way the game of golf is learned, taught, played, and enjoyed. The first project I'd like to tell you about is my website, PuttingZone.com. A lot of people say that this is the best website in all of golf, and I think that's a little over the top. But in fact, it does receive 75,000 visits every month from golf industry insiders, company owners, PGA professionals, and elite professional players. Lots and lots of people come to the PuttingZone. It's an interactive community of people who are interested in how to putt their best. Want information about available putters? On the PuttingZone.com, you'll find information about 500 different putter companies, all on a single page. That's right, 500. Not the 5 or 10 that you can usually find in the retail stores or in the golf magazines. And there's also going to be lots of reviews by players, lots of information about putter companies, putter designers, all that sort of information. Press releases. You can find out about putters months or even years in advance of what other people find out from going to the stores to look for putters. In addition to the putters, you can also find out all the information you would ever want about training aids, whether those are CDs or putting tracks, pro-aim glasses, lasers, computer systems, video recording systems, putting monitors. All of that's available on the PuttingZone. The books, the tapes, everything that you could possibly find as a putting aid to help you learn about how to putt. Flat stick forum is another important feature of the PuttingZone website. Flat stick forum has been up and running now for about 6 years, and it has over 600 separate articles where people have come in and asked me questions about putting. These articles cover everything from the stimp meter and the physics of putting, to the use of training aids, to the preferred techniques, to the debate about stroke paths, and all of that. If you're at all interested in putting, the PuttingZone's Flat Stick Forum is probably the only place in the world where you can find that kind of information. If you haven't been to the PuttingZone, then I'd like to invite you to encounter more useful and perhaps entertaining information about how to putt your best than could and possibly should exist. The PuttingZone website is in the process of being commercialized, and I'd like to invite your participation either by way of advertisements or by way of product sales. I'll be offering all the putters, all the training aids, all the books and CDs that I can possibly offer to provide the community of golf everything they need to have to putt their best. The Jeff Mangum Golf Academy at Todd Hill Farm is where I help teaching professionals and playing professionals as well as elite amateurs reach their highest potential in the game of golf. And I also travel to tour events and work with golfers around the world. And I teach the teachers. I offer programs of instruction designed for the top golf schools in the world to help their staff understand brain-based putting and the revolutionary techniques that can help their programs become the best they can possibly be. And my golf schools offer half-day and full-day clinics for groups and individuals as well as corporate golf outings. I also teach college teams and players and offer half rates for junior amateurs. I teach PGA professionals and course owners and have special introductory sessions for members of the golf media. If members at your golf course would like to have a clinic with this special kind of putting instruction, then let's set it up together. I've been studying putters, putter designs, and training aids now for over 15 years, and I think I've amassed some pretty good information about what works and what doesn't work. If you're one of these companies that's sinking your life savings into the development of a product, whether a putter or a training aid, then let's talk before you do the patents and before you do the prototypes and before you start the advertising campaign. Let's try to avoid some of the pitfalls that others have fallen prey to. Golf is a game where you can't hide from performance. You have to write it down every single hole you play. And the better you get at golf, the more important putting becomes. The pro ranks are filled with great ball strikers who seldom or ever win because they lack the high-level skills in putting necessary. Don't kid yourself. If you're a tour player and you're not a very, very good putter, you're destined to have a so-so career. And even players at the top of the money list could do even better. There's plenty of players who routinely drop 2 to 3 strokes a day due to indifferent putting skills. I can help. The difference between the bottom of the heap and the top of the heap on tour is only 2 strokes a day. And the field as a whole has not significantly improved in putting in the past 30 or 40 years. If you've been a tour player for some years and you're still not a fantastic putter among your peers, then whatever you've been trying simply hasn't been working. Einstein coolly noted that if you keep trying the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, then that's the definition of insanity. If you can learn to shave 1/2 a stroke a day out of your game, you can easily double your on-course revenue, not to mention your off-course revenue and your place in the golf pantheon. Frankly, after years of studying tour players and listening to what they say about how they putt, I can guarantee you that there's not any player on tour today that I cannot help putt significantly better. Do you struggle to get the green speeds even while the event is underway? Then I can teach you something that will dramatically shorten that process. Do you have unclear notions about how your stroke should work? Or do you have questions about whether you're aimed where you should be aimed? Then you haven't learned what you need to know. If you subscribe to the "don't fix it if it ain't broke" school of thought, or to the "let sleeping dogs lie" school of thought, then I'm not the teacher for you. But if you're not the world beater you were born to be, and your time in the sun is swiftly running out, then you need to reach a new level of performance in putting, and I can help. The third major project I'd like to tell you about is the PuttingZone magazine. This year I'm launching a national magazine focused exclusively on putting. The equipment, the designers, the companies, the players, training aids, the science, putting A to Z. This magazine will start with 50,000 copies published 6 times a year and will be distributed at all golf courses, pro shops, PGA teachers, putting related companies, golf related media, and will also be sold by subscription and sold in golf retail stores and major chains. The business idea for this magazine is simple. There are over 500 putter companies and over 200 training aid related companies that have no access to the national market because the advertising rates are too expensive. If you've priced the ad rates at Golf Digest or Golf Magazine, you certainly know that. The PuttingZone magazine is designed to offer reasonable ad rates to these small companies so that they can reach their national markets and get the notice that their work and creativity deserves. The fourth project I'd like to tell you about is the PuttingZone Academies. Starting in the fall of 2005, I started offering franchises for people interested in operating their own putting schools. The first PuttingZone Academy was opened in Yorkshire, England at Crossland Heath Golf Club with head pro John Eyre. Then I opened the PuttingZone Academy for the national headquarters in Germany at the Oddendorf Golf Resort with head pro Andy Taylor. The first U.S. Academy was opened in Baltimore, Maryland with teaching pro Damon Lucas, the head of instruction at Chestnut Ridge Country Club. In addition to the PuttingZone Academies, I also offer a certification program for individual teachers. Future academies are slated to open in England, Ireland, Spain, Belgium, Australia, South Africa, and Canada and the United States. These academies will benefit synergistically from the PuttingZone magazine as well as a dedicated website for creating an interactive teacher-learner community. They will also benefit from increasing numbers of the academies. The idea of the PuttingZone Academies and Certification Program is simple. Teach swing teachers how to teach putting at the highest level and also educate the public about the importance of putting skills for the game of golf so that they will seek out these specialized putting instructors. It's clearly a win-win deal for everyone in golf. If you have interest in being a PuttingZone certified coach or in owning and operating a PuttingZone Academy, contact me and I can provide you complete details. Find out why the teachers at the David Ledbetter Academy and the Jim McLean School and other top organizations around the world rely upon the PuttingZone for themselves and for their teachers, up close and personal. If you're a course or teaching pro and would like to get a handle on putting for the new century, call or send me an email and I'll try to make it happen some way, somehow. If you're in the golf industry in the business of making putters, training aids, instructional material, or artificial greens, you must be vitally interested in staying ahead of the learning curve for the art and science of putting. Are you designing a high-tech putting monitor and are relying on conventional wisdom to guesstimate what parameters are important for your system? Then you're working at a suboptimal level and the price is simply too high for that. Call me and let's talk about the issues before the investor money runs out. Saving a single putter round on the PGA Tour is worth at least $1 million a player to even the people at the bottom of the money list. At the top of the money list, it means even more on-course revenue, and that's not counting the off-course endorsement money. I'm a putting coach, and I've worked 15 years long and hard to get the real goods on how to help you with your game. I don't break what's working, and you'll look long and hard before you'll find a coach as helpful in working with you to get your game to the level where it needs to be. Even if you're on top right now, you ought to be interested in working with someone that can help you stay there or even to improve. Call me and let's see what you're really capable of with the flat stick, and let's make this a whole new century for how to play the game of golf.
Thank you for allowing us to present this overview of the PuttingZone. As a recipient of this DVD, you can be sure that Jeff Mangum values your contribution to the game of golf. Won't you join with him over the coming years to help make the game even more enjoyable and profitable for all golfers? Use the contact information provided to let us know how we can work together.